So here we are with episode 6 of the family circumstances of the Irregular Witch. Last episode was pretty stupid, but quite enjoyable. So we'll just have to see what this episode has in store for us. And it seems like it might be a more of a long episode in terms of like we're gonna have one scenario just because there isn't multiple titles in this one, but we'll just have to see. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access on the YouTube memberships for non-seasonal and some seasonal shows like this one. Other than that, let us get started. Damn, dude, that brush does not look like it should be made for. Oh, just Phoenix in the shadow. Oh, is this a fairy? What? Oh no, it's a butt. Destroyed immediately. Yeah, fuck that. Alright, I was gonna say fuck that butt, but that's not. You do you. A butt talk to me. Beautiful, or just an old man? So this one is just a butt. Oh, another imagery shattered, just like last episode. Your brother, who's also a butt, or Anafiato? The witch and her daughter. Flowers and not garden. So it's the brother fairy that's been. You just have that in your fucking pocket? Where'd you have that? You don't even have any pockets in your dress. Where'd you keep this gold? Hippo-san. What's going on? Is he trying to spread the butt? Like, what's... Damn, is he a triple butt boy? Oh, he's a... It's boy. Sweet cheeks! Okay, the fucking sound of him flying, the little fucking DBZ sound right there. Oh shit, y'all having a... Oh my god. Oh shit, they're having a fucking Dragon Ball fight out here. Oh shit! Brothers, button heads. Mr. Sweet Cheeks. You just watch and see. It's just her. She's just. Torino Umbrello. Because he doesn't want her to leave. He's so... Holy shit! Durian! Dude, that guy is dead. He's like a fucking Gyaru. He's so angry. Well, what if we can prove his love for her? Yeah. Why is the daughter the one who gets me? No, what? He's so angry. Yeah, let's go find out his backstory. What if he's just a very wholesome guy, you know? This guy's voice is so fucking great. It's so fitting for like a shonen character. Well, yeah, you're looking at people's privacy. Take his hair. He says it's so menacing. He just puts blood on the... Alright, let's see. Let's see what he does. Wow, y'all can just... Footage of him cheating, please. He's just a wholesome guy. Helping the elderly. Helping the kids. Oh no! What base are you on with you? Man's out here saving himself for marriage! Wow! What? Dude, mad respect. Wow, these are some bro talks. He's so angry. No. He might be a human trafficker on his days off. Sweet Cheeks' beef. Of course. But does she even know you exist? That reminds me. If you guys were, what? She can't see them? Yeah, she's not. She doesn't have magic. Unfortunate. I've got this butt in my palm. The first time we get to see more of a, more or less a human, right? Without a... Why am I suddenly getting emotional for a butt? Ah! Hey, yo, your dad was a hottie. We don't even need to see his eyes. But, like, his voice, though. Goddamn. Giovanni. Oh? You know, roses have thorns. You just toss that on her. Because that made me sad, but his brother. His voice sounds so familiar. It's just... Oh. It's just a crazy woman talking to the air. She's conversing with nature. An artificial garden to produce fairies. Oh. Unsullied nature. The dad. Okay. And what, the dad just loves butts? Is that what? Swoons over. Oh, yeah. Is that why Phoenix is here? Of course. Doesn't want to say goodbye. No mint. No! What is that? Well, that's why you're here to protect her, right? I just finished wiping my tears. What the fuck? Whose heart is that? The butt? Oh, hold on. Well, they are created from him, right? But it was sweet cheeks. Her father's this guy. It's the performance of the voice that really does it for me. He's just a butt. Sweet cheeks. It's totes okay. He's such a fucking garu. Oh? Oh, give them a show? This is so dope. Look at him, just an old man in the end. He's got fewer buttons. Holy shit. Fucking. Holy shit. Gave him life. Oh my god. Like transferred mana to him. Peace. You hardly used any magic. Understandable. It's change. It's hard. Oh no! The idea of long live. Agreed. My glasses. Oh, y'all got in the wedding? Maybe they just move in. Like, there's still plenty of time. Just one day, wakes up and she sees butts. Children of positive thinker. Where are the butts going to heaven? Like, what's... What? What? Wow, you know, I certainly didn't expect, it's just, I didn't expect to just be... Look! If you're new here, family fucking hits me real hard, alright? And then it's the idea of, like, long-lived creatures. Right? And it's like, guys the idea for having an existential crisis out here, you know? And then we get hit with the preview. Alright, I don't need the preview, but we are going to go back to the center. Alright, so that was episode 6 of the family circumstances of the Irregular Witch. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty good episode, dude. This episode, it's literally about a character who just looks like a butt. And they decided that they're going to not put in the opening, right? Just that's how you know, like, an anime is, like, serious about their time, right? They want to take out that opening that takes, like, a minute and 30 seconds. They want to use up that minute and 30 seconds. And also, they kind of use up a bit of a portion of, like, the ending as well, right? They really wanted to use the entire time to show you this fucking story about an overprotective butt. Yo, what a fucking anime, dude. What an absolute fucking anime. And I'm over here crying about butts. But as I mentioned, you know, family is a I get, you know, I get emotional over, like, family shit, and that's why I told you that when they were showcasing, like, the first 2-3-ish episodes, right, when they were showing Alyssa and Viola and how Alyssa is trying to take care of Viola, and, you know, she gets help from all these other people, and just seeing Alyssa watch Viola grow up and such. I think those are very touching moments. I think those are very wholesome moments. I like wholesome family moments. Those are very nice. I get very, you know, I get very teary when it comes to these type of subjects. I mean, for something like Buddy Daddies, I thought Buddy Daddies was really good in terms of the idea of, despite them not being blood related, they stepped up and became fathers for Meaty. I love the whole concept of Buddy Daddies, because that's the whole thing, right? Family. Like Vin Diesel says, family. So anything that's, like, relating to family, and if you do it really well, it just tugs on my heartstring immediately. And you can kind of see it here, where we were literally only introduced to Sweet Cheeks. We were only introduced to Sweet Cheeks and fucking Anna. And like, we're just over here just having this introduction of them, and then we start to get a little bit more into their story. Also, like, in the beginning with, like, with Hip and Sweet Cheeks just fucking fighting with each other. I really enjoyed that. And you know, just the idea of, well, Sweet Cheeks find himself feeling very paternal, right? He holds very paternal feelings towards Anna because he's been with her since she was a kid, and so he gets that feeling what a dad would feel, which is like, oh, hey, you, this guy who does not look like a good guy at all, right? He's probably some fucking scumbag, and I can't hand over my daughter. Which, you know, if I really want to go dive deep into it, it's that really weird idea of, like, your daughter is, and okay, it's that, you know, all the idea of, like, your daughter is, like, your possession in terms of, like, a father's mindset, right? Some father's mindset is that your daughter is part of your possession, and so you know, the guy, the boyfriend or whatever, or the fiance would need the dad's permission in order for him to hand over said object, which is the daughter. It's kind of like how you see it in wedding ceremonies, where the dad, most usually it's the dad, you know, if the dad's out of the picture or something, it's somebody else who's the bride's closest companion, closest family or whatever. But it's often to be the dad who walks the daughter down the aisle, and he is the one who, and in this ceremony, it's essentially like the dad is handing his daughter over to the groom, right? It's like, this is your possession now. It's it's kind of like that idea, but also, you know, it was very literal back in the very olden days, right, where people would trade daughters to the sun in order to strengthen family relationships or strengthen business relationships and such, right? Daughters were often used as a negotiation tactics and such. Thankfully, right, these things don't really happen as often anymore, but the idea is still there. So, did I say I wasn't going to get into anyways, that's pretty much it, right? So it's that idea. I don't really enjoy it. I do understand if it's like coming from the feeling of like, oh, I just want my daughter to be happy. I don't want her to go off and date somebody who's going to fuck her over later on. So that sort of feeling, understandable, and I like that a lot better. So that's kind of what it is with Sweet Cheeks. So, you know, and then here we are with the idea of Torino, who looks like a fucking guy who's probably looks like a sort of guy who, according to Sweet Cheeks, could be doing human trafficking on his off day. A bad guy, and he doesn't want Anna to get into with this sort of guy. But as we can see, right, don't judge a book by its cover. And we see in the mirror what he's been doing for a few days, right? He's helping the elderly, he's helping kids, he does the fucking he negotiates and stuff, like, for business dealings. Like, he's actually pretty fucking serious about that. And also, he treats the butler with respect and all that, you know? The butler's just like, young master, I'd like to speak with you about tomorrow's dinner. And he's just like, hang tight, I gotta negotiate a deal, then I'm all yours, right? He's just like, hey, gotta let me do this first, and then I'll fucking talk to you about it, right? He's not dismissive of the guy or anything. And then he has, like, boy talks. And the guys are just like, hey, Torino, what base are you on with your girl? And Torino's like, yo, I'm saving myself for marriage. And we see how much that he cares about her, right? Like, oh, her daddy died when she was a kid, and she and her mama had to go it alone, so I'm gonna be her knight in shining armor and such. and as Alyssa says, he's shockingly a good person, which is a backhand compliment if you ever see one. It's the idea of like, oh, he's actually a good guy, which implements that you thought that he was a bad guy this whole time. Which, again, like the idea of you're judging a book by its cover, which, very fun. And here in this part, as we realize that Torino is actually a good guy, and Anna has fallen in love with a guy who genuinely cares for her and is willing to help her run the family business or whatever, or just he has his own family. It was something rather, right? He's a business guy. So after finding that out, and after finding that out, Sweet Cheeks still does not want, well, he's still trying to figure out, like, maybe he's a human trafficker on an off day, but he does not want Anna to go, because in the end, the reality is that he's afraid of letting her go, right? The time that you have with your kids is very limited. Oh, and then we get into that idea of time, and it just, that's, you know, as I mentioned, the idea of long-lived creatures. I mean, it kind of goes with, like, the way that we are as humans and the way that we see pets, right? Pets, unfortunately. I mean, dogs, I mean, if you got a fucking parrot or something, you're gonna live with, or a turtle, you're gonna live with that shit for fucking life. As long as you take good care of it, of course. But dogs and cats, right? No matter how good you take care of dogs or cats, they are going to die 12 years, 14 years, you know, if you're lucky, 20 years down the line. They're not going to live with you all the way until your death. And it's a sad reality. The idea of time is that we know that time is very limited, and we're not always going to get the time to spend, kind of like the idea of spending time with your parents, right? With your siblings, with your family. You're never going to have all the time in the world to be able to spend with them. And sometimes when you lose your parents, when you lose your sibling, and especially if if you weren't on good terms with them by the end of, like, you know, the end of their life, you feel that sort of regret, knowing that you wish that you could have been a better person for your father or for your mother or whatever, right? But also, even if you did have a good relationship and they end up they end up dying, you feel like you just didn't have enough time with them in the end. And so I don't know where I'm going with this. Because I just see a butt on my on my screen. Multiple butts anyways, right? But here with what Alyssa says, what Viola actually, Viola is asking, like, hey, what is Sweet Cheeks' beef with Torino? And Alyssa says he doesn't have one. He'll just miss her. I think that's just what it likes when your daughter gets married. I mean, when your son gets married too, but, you know, whatever. No matter how wonderful her partner is, right? He's just going to miss her in the end. And Alyssa is able to understand that, right? I have you, so I can understand how he feels, because when she falls in love and gets married, she's end up going to move away from Viola as well. But, well, Viola is just over here like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm never gonna move away from you. Or in this case, she pulls her right back to Alyssa, right? I understand how he feels because I have you. What if my mother moves away from me? Anyways, going back to I don't know why I was gonna say the idea of time is limited. I mean, it's not an idea, it's literally a fact. Time is very limited. Our life on Earth is a very limited thing. But at the same time, I'm about to go off the fucking rockers again. Some people feel like because their time is limited, they have to do something that puts a mark on the world, on the Earth, right? To make sure that they are going to be remembered by the time their life ends. And that can be a very stressful experience, right? It's just like, well, if my time is limited, I'm just over here playing fucking video games all day. What am I good? What am I doing good to the Earth, right? What am I doing good to the people around me? And in terms of that, I feel like you should not worry about having to affect people's lives, having to affect people's lives on a bigger scale, right? You can always think about it on a much more minor scale, right? How are you going to affect the people around you, your family, your friends? And I'll be honest, like, there's really nothing wrong with spending a lot of your time playing video games. I'll be honest, right? It's that, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't really think that you have to do something that will affect the world, right? Your time is limited, and you should spend that however you fucking want. And if you want to play video games all day, and later on in your life, when you're 80 or some shit, and you think back on those days, you know, hopefully you are able to feel that you did not regret spending all your time playing video games. Alright, and hopefully that feeling comes from you, and it's not coming from other people who tells you that your life is worthless, right? I again, like, there's nothing wrong about living a chill life, and I think that's how people generally should be. I don't think that people should be working all the time in order to pay a fucking bill. I think people should be able to work and not work for a living, right? People should be able to work, and then they should be able to have time to do whatever the fuck they want. Again, I'm getting lost in the sauce. I don't know where I am. But yeah, it's, it's just to summarize everything that I'm saying, right? Time is limited, and you should spend that time doing what you love, and being able to live your freest life, and not have to look back on your life when you're younger and think about, like, well, fuck, I regretted doing all those actions. That being said, right, I think that we all as humans have a lot of regrets. That's why isekai That's why time traveling isekai. It's such a big genre for us nowadays, right? Because it's the idea of, well, I get to restart my life, not here on Earth, but I get to restart my life in some fantasy world or some shit. I mean, that's the whole jobless reincarnation. That's the whole idea, right? The main character was this guy who was overweight. His family hated him. He basically regretted his whole entire life, and then suddenly he gets reincarnated and he decides that he's going to live his life to the fullest, right? He's going to not, for the most part, be held back by fear, by insecurity or whatever. He's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants. And people resonate with that, right? It's the idea of, yeah, I have a lot of regrets that I wish I could have changed, but it's all right. We're again. I'm getting lost in the sauce. I was saying I was gonna summarize something, and my brain's just like, wait a minute, hold on. And again, I'm still looking at butts. I'm just like fucking shy. Okay, getting more into like the anime wise, right? Story wise, where we have Viola who says, why don't you just talk to her directly? It's that feeling of, well, Viola has lived with witches all her life. She has lived with people like Fennel, right? Fennel has magic. And so, and I don't know, Lyra, not really sure if Lyra sees, I mean, I think Lyra is able to see like the daddy thing, right? Hey, she might have some like magic or whatever, or at least she's been around with people who are related to, who has some relation to magic, so she knows. I mean, she sees the freaking, whatever. But this is the first time Viola has encountered a human who does not have magic, and so because of that, she's unable to see the fairies. And Viola, in her ignorance, is just like, why don't you just fucking talk to her then? Come on now, just fucking talk to her. So here's Viola showing it to Anna, and Anna is just like, the fuck are you showing me? Like, I don't know what the hell you're like, you're showing me air? Like, what is this? So I thought that was nice, an eye-opener for Viola, who's just like, oh shit, not everybody is like me, which, again, understandable, right? She's lived a life surrounded by witches, so it's never really been around a regular human. And towards the end, with Sweet Cheeks saying like, oh, I worried unnecessarily and obsess over things that I shouldn't. And Alyssa's like, well, that's what parents do, right? It's just, I don't think you need to bottle up the feelings you want to convey, even if you may choose to, in a direct way, to express it, right? Our time with them is limited after all. And God, and she says, like, especially for people like us, right? People who are long-lived creatures. She understands that Viola is going to grow up and she's going to die even before Alyssa dies herself. That is, if Viola, you know, doesn't suddenly find a fucking spell to eternal youth or whatever. But, it's just, I mean, I already talked about this, right? The idea of long-lived creatures and such, right? Time is limited. Alright, I've gone through this whole fucking spiel. So, what I do want to talk about is they did a good blend of comedy and a little bit more of a serious moment in this episode. And I thought this was a really good blend. And I mean, I did said, can't believe I'm just over here crying over some butts. But it could also be me and the whole family thing, right? It affects me a whole lot more. So I would like to know, what did you think about this episode? And like, they're just butts. but the performance that Sweet Cheeks does is so fucking good. Like, his voice sounds so familiar, and I just can't put my, it's like, he definitely sounds like he's voiced in like some other shonen anime as well. But like, it's so fucking good for Sweet Cheeks. As I said, it's his voice and his performance that does it for me. It really goes to show that, you know, he could just be a butt, and I'll just be like, well, fuck, this is sad. They put in that whole thing with Viola seeing it, and she's just like, these are just fucking butts. What the hell are these? And then as Phoenix goes and he says, it's interesting that their fairies were created in this garden, because this garden for the most part is man-made. It's definitely tempered by man, but as you can see, Giovanni loves his garden, and that's why the fairies were born here in this garden. But also, as we've learned, fairies are created by their environment, right? And they're kind of influenced by other things. So Sweet Cheeks is just like, yeah, dude, fucking Giovanni, he loves butts. That's his fetish. That man, he's a butt guy, that's for sure. He loves butts so much. We were created. We look just like butts. So some of the moments that I thought was very fun, because like the comedy, I mean, it was kind of around the whole thing, right? The whole butts thing. But like when it comes, it just kind of just hits, and then immediately it evaporates. And I really like that. It's like the point where not Giovanni, Sweet Cheeks is just looking off, and he's just like, yeah, you know, it's time to say goodbye to this garden with me and my brother, who were made from her father's fetish. And Alyssa's just like, why do you have to say fetish? I thought that was very funny, right? I thought that this was a nice blend of comedy and, you know, some sweet, I don't want to say serious, but it's like some sweet, wholesome scenes. So, very nice. I really enjoyed this episode. You know, I hope to see more episodes like these where it's not split into two scenarios and we just have one singular scenarios instead. So the previous episodes kind of been split into like 3-ish scenarios, right? We've got 2 main scenarios, and the last one is like kind of like a tack on to one of the 2 scenarios, but it's a very short one. So that's kind of been the whole thing, and it's been a lot more focused on the comedy. But again, the episodes that I really enjoy when it comes to this series are the one that puts a little bit more focus on family. Family. But if I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.